first goal of the year goes for the Raiders.
Oh, beautiful shot there. Nicely done. Gets the pin.
Oh, was that beautiful? Onside kick, and it's recovered by Hastings.
And he's rung up for strike 3.
Doblowy! Touchdown Raiders!
And we want to welcome those of you joining us on television, Hastings Community TV and Town Square TV. This is Hastings Raiders boys soccer against the South St. Paul Packers. And I am KDWA Sports Director Trey Lauer from KDWA AM 1460, FM 97.7 in Hastings. Bringing you all the action here tonight on radio and on TV as the Hastings Raiders and the South St. Paul Packers gear up for a big battle in the Metro East. And why it's a big battle is because these are two teams trying to find their footing in the Metro East Conference. And as a result of that, somebody's going to get a much-needed victory here tonight. And we're on one camera shot right now on the TV side because we are weatherproofing because there is some rain around us. There were a few drops a few minutes ago, and there is some more on the way. So weatherproofing on the TV side of things as the Hastings Raiders and South St. Paul Packers are set to go from Todd Field in McNamara Stadium. So let's go through the starting lineups for these teams. We mentioned the South St. Paul Packers in a minute, but your hosts, the Hastings Raiders, Jonathan Brox will be in net tonight for Hastings. And then in numerical order, you've got Jed Carlson, the midfielder, Brody Geib, the midfielder, Riley Stewart on defense, Jackson Rentz on defense, Seabass Strauss at the midfield, Ethan Schock at the midfield with Tony Lau. Adam Schmaltz will be on defense. Johan Rova-Hegner will be in the midfield, and Xavier Beal will be the forward. For South St. Paul, Eric Dominguez, Melvin Gutierrez, Tomas Ochoki, Anthony Lopez, or I should say Achaki rather, Anthony Lopez Romero, Henry Andrade, Brody Nurka, Brian Zamora, Yeshua Sanchez, Kevin Ortiz, Carlos Calato Chavez, and Walton Joswiak are the starters for the South St. Paul Packers, and it will be Dominguez in net for them tonight. South St. Paul 2-10-2 on the year, Hastings 2-10-1. So as we mentioned, somebody going to get a much-needed victory should this game not end in a draw this evening. Lights are on here at Todd Field and McNamara Stadium for a great night of Metro East soccer. The Hastings girls team was in action against South St. Paul. Game wrapped up about 20 minutes ago, and the girls got a 4-1 victory. You heard that game live right here. Sienna Sanchez scoring all 4 goals in that contest for the Raiders. She is just a freshman, so to do that as a freshman is remarkable. And we are underway on the boys' side here at Todd Field as the Packers and Raiders are underway, and South St. Paul attacking from left to right, Hastings from right to left. With the ball for South St. Paul, Yeshua Sanchez. And now with it in the middle is Colado Chavez, and that's going to be knocked out of play. Carlson fighting alongside Sanchez with it. So Sanchez getting ready to... Actually, excuse me, that's Walton Joswiak. They made a numerical switch. Joswiak is 16, Sanchez is 26. So they've swapped numbers there. And that was Joswiak who had the ball for South St. Paul. This one's fired deep and through the field goal posts. That would have been good on Fridays, but that's not going to count on the pitch. And as a result of that, it stays 0-0 a minute in. Goal kick coming here for South St. Paul. Dominguez to take the goal kick from the end in Hastings. Fired deep toward the middle of the field. And that's where the Packers get to it. Now it's taken away by Ethan Schock. Here is Schock. Back toward the middle. And that's where the Raiders go into possession with it. There's Schmaltz. Back toward the near side now for Hastings. There is Riley Stewart. Over towards number 4 for the Raiders. That's Brody Geib, who got a goal in the last time KDWA was here. As South St. Paul is back into possession now, over on that far side, and then knocked away. I believe that was Strauss who got to it and knocked it away for Hastings. 38 minutes left in this first half, so just getting underway here at Todd Field. Back towards the middle of the field now for South St. Paul. With it briefly for the Packers was Brian Zamora. And now South St. Paul retreats as Johan Rove-Hegner came over on defense. And the Packers have it in the middle of the field. Now with the ball is Carlos Collado Chavez. And now Hastings into possession. Geib. This one fired deep, looking for Carlson. And South St. Paul back into possession now. Now Riley Stewart can't handle it, and it's up into the air. South St. Paul has it back. Now Schmaltz heads it forward. With it is Rove-Hegner. Squeezes between a couple of Raiders, and then Dominguez gets it back for South St. Paul. And so Dominguez getting ready for the goal kick here for the Packers. 36-42 remaining. Hastings has it again. Here's Strauss with it on the far hash. And back toward the near side. Brody Geib chasing after it. It's going to go out of play. Just about a minute 40, or excuse me, 3:40 into this contest. Why math is so hard for me? As the rain starts to pick up a little bit here at Todd Pitch and McNamara Stadium. I've been calling it Todd Field all night. Here's Rove-Hegner. Back to Strauss in the middle. And now Rentz had it momentarily for the Raiders. Back to the far sideline. That's Tony Lau. And that one went towards the net but was deflected off a Packer and squirts back out of play. 35.5 to go still in this first half, so we're bright and early here at Todd Field, Pitch, McNamara Stadium. And the ball is along the sideline here. Johan Rove-Hegner in a fight for it. And it goes out of play. So a throw-in coming for the Raiders as it was last touched by the Packers. And almost a good look there to Brody Geib, but it bounces just a bit short. Back to the outside now. And now toward the middle of the field. Geib, here's a look, and Dominguez gets underneath it as Ethan Schock chased after it for the Raiders. Dominguez gets it back toward the near side over to Joswiak. Now it's a Chalky with it for South St. Paul. Taken away by Carlson for the Raiders. Now back to Strauss. That's going to go off the body of Zamora. And back over to the far sideline goes Tony Lau. Lau gets it to Carlson, who gets behind the defender Gutierrez for South St. Paul, but it's knocked out of play and the flag goes up. Now look in front here, Brody Geib, and now back out. Shot on net and into the back of the net. What a goal there by Adam Schmaltz. And Hastings takes a 1-0 lead. We're going to have to talk about that one again. Adam Schmaltz, the defenseman, puts it in the back of the net. That surprised me. But let's take one more look at it. It was just headed right out to Schmaltz. He had nothing but clean turf in front of him, and he just popped it into the back of the net behind Gutierrez off a deflection, and Hastings with a 1-0 lead. So Schmaltz scores unassisted after South St. Paul tried to clear it. It went off the head of a Packer right to Schmaltz, and that was that. And a good start for the Raiders, which is important. Shane Lanning has talked about that with us before, the assistant coach of this team, that it's imperative for this Hastings team to get an early start. During this season, this team had a knack to get behind early, and in their first couple of games of the year, they actually came back and won after multi-goal deficits, as we've got a look here for South St. Paul, almost a giveaway by Hastings. And now South St. Paul back into possession. They will retreat. Now it's Hastings going the other way with it. Here's Strauss on the near side. Here comes Brody Geib. Geib will keep it alive. Geib turning it upfield. Geib loses the handle. And another shot. Dominguez makes the save. So talking what I was saying here about Shane Lanning, the assistant coach, talking about how it's important for Hastings to get an early advantage. As you see the shot attempt here by the Raiders, Brody Geib tried to thread the needle between two Packers, but Dominguez was ready for it. Other than those first two games where Hastings was down and came back to win, the Raiders haven't won a game since, so they're looking to reverse that trend here tonight. So scoring first, hugely important and a great step forward for this Hastings team. Obviously, Hastings coached by Jamie Swanson. Lanning is one of the assistants, along with Christian Waggy and Tom Brenny. South St. Paul is coached by Noy Cuenca, and assistant coaches are Alex Sarmiento, Roberto Hernandez, and Ray Mendez. Apologies if I mispronounced any names there. We've got the ball along the sideline. Hastings with the only two shots on goal in the contest to this point. And the Raiders with a 1-0 lead. 50% production's pretty darn good. Granted, it is early in the contest. Now Hastings has some space in the middle of the field. Here's Strauss back toward the near side. Geib is there. Brody Geib trying to turn it upfield. Rides off the defender. Geib cuts it through the middle and is taken down. This should, I believe, be a free kick coming for Hastings, as Brody Geib had two Packers on either side of him. Basically rides off the defender and then scooches it toward the middle of the field, but he was taken down in the process. So now Rova Hegner to take the free kick, and it's going to go just wide of the net and rolls back toward the fencing on the Vermilion Street side. 1-0 Hastings over South St. Paul. Brody Geib fighting for the ball there, along with South St. Paul's number 3, Tomas Achaki. And now, bringing it up the field for the Packers is Henry Andrade, one of their captains. Here's Strauss in the middle of the field, over to Jackson Rentz. And then Lau sends it forward, but South St. Paul back into possession. Into the middle of the field it comes. Back out to the Packers now. Bodied off is a Packer by Rova Hegner. Now here comes Hastings the other way. Schock to Schmaltz. And then Geib races down to the near side to get it. Geib keeps it alive. In play, gets it back over to Xavier Beal. And then Beal back to the middle of the field to Strauss. Strauss looking for Schmaltz, just gets past him and ends up in the feet of Geib. Geib behind the, no look behind the back pass there, I guess, to Jed Carlson. And then back to Brody Geib. Geib in the middle of the field and a shot that just goes high and over. Looked to me like that was Ethan Schock in front for the Raiders. Or was it Rova Hegner? One of those two. Had a look at it there, but nonetheless, almost made it 2-0. Believe it might have been Johan Rova Hegner actually that got a piece of it, and Carlson gearing up for the free kick here for the Raiders. Still waiting for this free kick. Carlson is ready as there's the whistle. Tries to pull off a nifty move and curl it into the left side of the net, but it curved a little too much and went a little wide. And so Dominguez will gear up for a goal kick here for the Raiders. Rather for the Packers, I should say. Stewart is the closest one in the vicinity. Now Rentz fires it forward. Carlson in all alone, but it gets to Dominguez first. And it stays 1-0. Dominguez has been busy early in this one for the South St. Paul Packers. Back the other way now. Looking for Carlson from Schmaltz. Ends up back out to Beal at midfield. Beal on the near side at midfield, I should say. Loses the handle on the ball. Here goes the Packers. That's Tomas Achaki in space now, and the flag's going to go up. He tried to find Yeshua Sanchez, I believe, or was that Collado Chavez? I believe that was Collado Chavez. He tried to find there, and actually number 15. We don't have a 15 on our roster for South St. Paul. And so we apologize about that. But if you know who that is, please feel free to let us know in the chat on YouTube for those watching on the TV side. There's a couple extra players that we've just been informed of, but none of them are 15. 1-0 Hastings here over South St. Paul. As the Packers have it, there's Joswiak, and now back towards Geib on the near side, Brody Carlson, or Jed Carlson rather. Brody Carlson's a hockey player. Here's back towards Ethan Schock, and then that one is going to go toward the near side. South St. Paul back into possession with it, now out towards Lopez Romero. Riley Stewart intercepts, and Seabass Strauss tries to go for the nifty move, loses the handle on the ball, but it comes out to Ethan Schock anyway. And now Rova Hegner to Strauss in the middle. Strauss gets it right back after losing it momentarily. Now Strauss inside, Rova Hegner right in, all alone on Dominguez. Dominguez makes the save for South St. Paul. What a save by Dominguez. It was one-on-one, Rova Hegner versus Dominguez, and the South St. Paul keeper, Eric Dominguez, with a great stop with the shin to keep that goal from going in and keeping this a 2-0 or a 1-0 game rather. Beal on the near side, can't quite bring it up. And knocked out of play. 1-0. Hastings over South St. Paul. We're going to have a substitute come off for the Raiders here. Number 7 for Hastings and number 9 for South St. Paul. So that's Sam Sanchez coming on for Johan Rova Hegner. We've also got Weston Schultz coming on for Hastings and Jacob Reuter coming into the game. And for South St. Paul, Brody Nurka has checked back into the contest. With it for the Packers was Andrade. And trying to go for a cross. And Hastings decides to just send it out of play to avoid any further damage there. 1-0 Hastings. 3 shots on goal in the contest. As South St. Paul yet to find a shot on goal here. There's Sanchez firing it forward, looking for Carlson. Couldn't get it back, and now South St. Paul trying to attack in the Hastings end. And it will roll out of play. One 0 Hastings in front. Here's Xavier Beal with it. Back out into the left. That's where Sam Sanchez has it. Back to Stewart. Riley Stewart. Over to Jacob Reuter. And it will go out of bounds. 1-0 we said here. Raiders and Packers on this Tuesday night at Todd Field and McNamara Stadium. This one kind of lunged backwards, and Carlson trying to track it down as it... Well, Carlson goes out of play, but the ball doesn't. That's perfectly fine, but South St. Paul gets back to it. And now the Packers have it on the near side. Back to the middle of the field. There's number 20 for South St. Paul, another player we don't have on our roster. And that will go out of play. So there appears to have been some number changes here with the Packers. Number 22 has it. That's Vladimir Rojas. And now Beal back in the middle of the field. Squirting it back out. In front to Carlson, and Dominguez will again race in to make the stop. Carlson and Dominguez were one-on-one once more. And once again, it's Dominguez winning that battle. This is headed forward. Now Carlson. And that's Rentz in the middle of the field who sends it back deep into the South St. Paul end. Rojas lets it roll out of play. And with 21 minutes remaining, South St. Paul still looking for their first shot on goal. But for Hastings, you couldn't ask for a better start. You get the early goal you've been seeking. And you have played some pretty lockdown defense in this one so far. As Jacob Reuter gets to the ball. Now Xavier Beal on the near side weaves through traffic. Nifty footwork here by Beal. But it gets sent back the other way. And then out of play. And Jacob Reuter will try to track it down. It goes all the way back out near the football locker room area. I guess it's also the soccer locker room. Into the tunnel, we'll say. As Brox, who hasn't had a lot to do tonight so far, will play that for Hastings. And now Xavier Beal on the near side. Beal goes for the cross, and it's just going to get overridden by a Raider there. That would have been nifty if they had pulled that off. Now in the middle of the field for the Packers. Fight for the ball, as that was Oliver Mendoza who had it, now has it again for South St. Paul, as the Packers will get a free kick here. Sending in the free kick is Anthony Lopez Romero. And now, with a Raider in space, Schock not able to get it up the field. Schultz was there momentarily for Hastings. And now with it for South St. Paul, you've got Brody Nurka. And then the ball will go all the way into the bench and out of play. So it is 1-0 Hastings here. Just under 19 minutes to go in this opening half of play at Todd Field or Todd Pitch and McNamara Stadium. Sebastian Strauss back toward the near side, gets it over to Jacob Reuter. Good to see Reuter getting some extended minutes here tonight. And this will be thrown in. And now back with it is going to be Sam Sanchez. Back to Jackson Rentz. Looking for Strauss on the far side. He's got it back to Rentz now. Rentz deep, looking for Carlson, but it was taken away by a Packer. But it stays in South St. Paul's. And Schultz with a shot. Dominguez with the save. And then the deflection that almost went in, but rolls back and out. One more look at that here as Weston Schultz almost had an opportunity at a goal, and Dominguez got a hand on it and then deflected it away. And another look there for Hastings momentarily that squirts backing out. Umbrellas have come out here. I see a couple people with radars looking at their phones to see just how wet we're going to get. It's sprinkled on and off, but the umbrellas have come out, which is an indication that it is probably raining a little bit harder than a sprinkle right now. But we are in the comfortability of the press box here at Todd Field and McNamara Stadium, so we're not getting very wet. And those of you listening at home, you're inside too. We hope, yeah. One 1-0. There is Rentz trying to find Strauss on the far sideline. Intercepted by a Packer. And now South St. Paul laps in defense here by the Raiders. It's a 2-on-1. Save made by Brox. But he was offside, so it, unfortunately for Brox, won't go on the stat sheet. But he tried to play it there as South St. Paul's number 11, Brian Zamora, was all alone on Brox. And unfortunately, it won't count as a shot on goal or a save. Fortunately for Hastings, I guess there was an offsides, but I'm sure Brox would have wanted that on a stat sheet. "16 minutes remaining here in this first half. Corner kick for the Raiders. And that one had a little bit too much on it. That's going to get sent up out of play. No, it isn't either. It stays in play. Went really high up into the air. Back towards midfield. Fought for. Beal fighting for it in the midfield. Here's Jacob Reuter. And knocked away by South St. Paul's number 15. We have a whistle. I think we're going to get a couple subs coming on here for these two teams. I think Nurka coming back on for South St. Paul. And that is number 6 for Hastings. That's Tyler Brockman, the senior mid, who has come onto the field for the Raiders. Back toward the middle of the field, it's Jackson Rentz. Back to Brox. Brox fires it deep toward the middle. Riley Stewart. Stewart turning it upfield. Stewart back to Beal. Into traffic, now into the middle of the field, looking for Schock. But a good job by South St. Paul's number 4, Lopez Romero, to prevent that pass from being successful. $14.5 to go here, first half. Raiders have a goal in this contest. It was Adam Schmaltz, the defenseman, scoring the goal when the ball bounced back to him and he was all alone and fired it right on target from about 20 yards into the back of the net. Now on the near side for the Packers. Beal gets it back, now brings it back up the field for the Raiders. Here comes Xavier Beal on the near side. Beal is taken down, and that will surely be a free kick. Xavier Beal just plain took the ball away and brought it up the field and then was taken down. And it will be Ethan Schock to take the free kick. And Dominguez with the save, but it stays in the box. And then South St. Paul sends it deep. Now, racing after it is Schock as it goes out of play. 1-0 the score, 13:22 to go in the opening half, the second half of this doubleheader. With the girls winning the first game 4-1, 4 goals from Sienna Sanchez in that girls contest. Back to the far sideline. And now South St. Paul back into possession toward the middle of the field. Here's Henry Andrade. Loses the handle. Now Beal's got it back toward the middle of the field to Strauss. Strauss can't connect. And there is Joswiak. Xavier Beal had it momentarily with Reuter. And now South St. Paul has it back. Weston Schultz with a nice deflection there. In the middle of the field, now back toward the near side. We've got a whistle. We've got a Packer that's down. That is one of the midfielders, Zamora, the junior for South St. Paul. He's back up. And now, Reuter on the near side as it came back to a Raider. Official briefly gets in the way, but Schock gets it back. And now, this one was going to be a one-on-one, but Brockman sends it a bit deep. And South St. Paul's number 19, Kevin Ortiz, was able to get there first. Now it's knocked out of play. As the clock runs under 12 minutes to go in this opening half. Back toward the middle of the field, it's Xavier Beal trying to set something up. Now he retreats. Back to Stewart. That would have been a good field goal from about 25 yards, but it doesn't go into the back of the soccer net. Just a bit over the post. And it is 1-0. Dominguez waiting to get this goal kick going. Again, the Raiders with the lead here, as I think there's some fans debating whether or not it's raining. Johan Rova-Hegner has it back up the far sideline. Back to Ethan Schock, to Rova-Hegner in traffic. And now Schock has it back. Now Carlson, just a bit too far away from the net, and it squirts wide. Oh, I'm starting to feel more raindrops, and now you can actually see a little bit more of a substantial rainfall illuminated in the lights, and it is raining pretty steadily now from side to side here at Todd Field. But unlike Friday, we got nothing to worry about with flashes and booms yet, knock on wood. Yeah, I actually got some people mentioning the way I worded the call of the overtime football win the other night. Appreciate all your kind words, as here is Seabass Strauss shooting it on Dominguez, and Dominguez will make the stop. And if you weren't aware, we obviously had a 2.5-hour lightning delay on Friday night. That football game went to overtime and ended around midnight. People still a buzz about that, as now South St. Paul's got a number here on Brox. Brox comes out to play it and makes the stop as it goes into the right corner and out of play. Excellent job by Brox there to come out of the net and make the play on the ball. And now we've got a bunch more umbrellas that have come out here. As South St. Paul will, I believe, get a corner here. Clock is running under 9 minutes left in this first half. We do have a sub coming off as well for the Packers here. Not exactly sure what is going on here. And now we will get a corner kick. Ochaki to take it. Ochoki. And then, yeah, that one is immediately knocked back out of play. Looks like Peter Clark has come on for the Raiders. He's the one that's over there closest to the ball. And now Strauss will let it go out of bounds as it bounced over to Vladimir Rojas. Rojas will throw it in. And now Geib will lose the handle on it briefly. Here's Geib, and we're going to have to shut this window because it's starting to rain into the press box now. As now, that ball will roll back. Sorry about that momentarily, though, folks. Had to close the window here so that our equipment stayed dry as it started to rain a little bit more and into the press box here. Pretty steady rainfall now, blowing in from the west to east. But that's perfectly fine. We'll take a little rain as opposed to some of the more dangerous stuff. As Carlson trying to find a lane, weave it through traffic. Dominguez comes back to get to it. 7 minutes to go here in this opening half. Here's the goal scorer, Schmaltz, for the Raiders. Bounces it back toward the middle of the field and loses the handle on it. Here's Rova Hegner back to Strauss. And Geib will get to it first. And Carlson just outstretched him. Carlson will get it back. Back toward the near side, out towards midfield. That's where Peter Clark will have it. Racing after it now is Jed Carlson. Intercepted by Rova Hegner, back to Schmaltz. Dancing in the middle of the field now is Seabass Strauss. He goes down. We do have a whistle. It'll be a free kick coming here for Seabass Strauss and the Raiders. I would assume it'll be either Strauss or Schock that'll take it. It will be Strauss. Just a bit wide left. Clock is down to 6:06 left in this first half. Raiders with a goal from Schmaltz. And that is the only score so far in this game. Carlson has it back to Geib on the near side. Brody Geib. And the Raiders just trying to keep this in play. It's going to roll out of play. And so with 5:20 to go in this opening half, South St. Paul is still looking for their first shot on goal. Hastings has all 6 to this point. This one fired deep. And now racing after it. Here is Sam Sanchez on Dominguez, and Dominguez will make the stop with both hands. He had to get up in the air to do it, but a stop nonetheless keeps this a 1-goal game. Sanchez had a great chance at that one for sure. Rova Hegner slides down to thwart an offensive opportunity for South St. Paul. And now Brockman on the far sideline will keep it in play, but the Packers get it back. Now it is a Raider over there, can't quite catch the number. Brockman And then this one fired back deep. We've got a whistle, and I think it's going to go the other way. 4 minutes left in this first half of action at Todd Pitch and McNamara Stadium. Free kick here for South St. Paul. And then into the Hastings bench. .345 to go, opening half. South St. Paul trying to bring it back up the field. Hastings has it back in the middle now. Sent back out to Tony Lau. And I think we had a whistle there. We did. It's going to be an elbow. And so Hastings will get the ball back. Riley Stewart has it for the Raiders. Stewart looking for Rova Hegner in the middle of the field. They can't connect. And now Jackson Rentz trying to speed back to the ball. He gets back to it. And South St. Paul almost had a potential breakaway opportunity there, but you saw the speed of Jackson Rentz to get back and prevent that. And now Sam Sanchez in all on Dominguez. He puts it in the back of the net, and the Raiders have a 2-0 lead. What a night to be a Sanchez in Hastings. Sienna Sanchez scored 4 goals in the girls' game, and now Sam Sanchez adds 1 here in the boys' game, and it is 2-0 Hastings. Looking at the replay, Sanchez got the feed and just arced it in over Dominguez. 2-0, and that's what gets us there with 2:45 remaining in this opening half. Shots on goal, 7-0 now in favor of the Raiders in that category. So Hastings putting some distance between them and the South St. Paul Packers here. Brody Guy will throw this in. Looking for Xavier Beal on a cross. Back to Rova Hegner. Fires it in, and Dominguez makes the stop for South St. Paul. That was shot number 9. This one was a great look, too. Rova Hegner from deep. Thought he had a look, and Dominguez was ready for it. As the clock runs under 2 minutes to go here in the opening half. Rova Hegner in the middle of the field. Loses ball control. Back to South St. Paul it goes now. Packers trying everything to get that elusive first shot. But it's been all Hastings in this one so far. 2 goals on 9 shots, and South St. Paul has yet to even sniff the Hastings box, and Jonathan Brox has probably gotten a little bored over there, to be honest. As Johan Rova Hegner, and what I mean by that, obviously, is he hasn't had to do a whole lot. Rova Hegner has it back. Shot saved Dominguez. Sanchez in front. Big collision. Dominguez goes down. Sanchez goes down. And South St. Paul's number 2, Melvin Gutierrez, takes a spill. It'll be a goal kick. Everybody's all right. Goal kick coming here for Dominguez. He'll launch it deep. Headed forward by Schmaltz. Sanchez racing after it. He'll get to it, and it'll go out of play. 2-0. The advantage here for Hastings over South St. Paul. Throw in coming. It'll be Sanchez to take it. It'll squirt through the legs of a Raider as the clock runs under 30 seconds remaining here in this opening half. On what has become a wet night at Todd Field and McNamara Stadium. 10 seconds remaining in this half. It'll just roll over to Dominguez, and he'll just pick it up, and that's how the first half will come to its conclusion. So the Hastings Raiders get 2 goals in this first frame. And the first one came from Adam Schmaltz, the second one from Sam Sanchez. Here's the Schmaltz goal again from about 10 yards out. Gets it over Dominguez and into the back of the net. And then the second one was a great feed to Sam Sanchez, who got behind the defender, got it in over the top of Dominguez, who came out to play it, put it in the back of the net. And it is 2-0 Hastings after 40 minutes here at Todd Field. Second half is coming up. Stick with us on KDWA Radio for a brief halftime show.
Some you've heard of more, but it doesn't bother me because I just love to explore. Interviewing owners and lending a hand. I love to assist for as long as they can stand.
I'm Haley Noring, and this is my daughter Chloe. We live in Hastings, Minnesota. Chloe will never get to know her uncle Devin. My brother Devin died of fentanyl poisoning on April 4th, 2020. Through Snapchat, Devin and his friend bought what they believed was a Percocet. It wasn't. It was a fake pill made of 100% illicit fentanyl. My brother didn't want to die. My family had to learn what fentanyl was after it was too late. What happened to my family could just as easily happen to yours. If we would have known about fentanyl sooner, maybe we could have saved Devin's life. You still have time to have that life-saving conversation with your children and loved ones. Illicit fentanyl is the leading cause of death for ages 18 to 45. Every 5 minutes in the U.S., illicit fentanyl kills someone's brother, son, father, mother, or loved one. Call 911 if someone you know is overdosing. Call United Way's 24/7 helpline by dialing 211 to find resources in and near Hastings. Contact United Way of Hastings or visit their website, unitedwayofhastings.org, for more resources or to make a donation. You can save a life by working with me and the United Way of Hastings to build awareness and reduce the stigma of overdoses and fentanyl poisonings. One pill can kill.
leading the South St. Paul Packers. We're back on HCTV as well on what has become a moist, I don't like that word, on a wet Tuesday night here at Todd Field and McNamara Stadium as the Hastings Raiders lead the South St. Paul Packers 2-0. We just had Parents' Night. All of the Hastings Raiders soccer players and their parents were honored prior to the game. Each player wrote a note to their parents thanking them. Here's a look at what's coming up with our broadcasts. On the HCTV side, they will have the soccer doubleheader versus Simley on Thursday night. Football at STA next Thursday in a co-production with Town Square TV. And then the following Wednesday, they will have football against Robbinsdale Cooper in the final home game of the regular season for the Hastings Raiders. For KDWA, we will have a soccer doubleheader against Simley as well here on Thursday. Then on Friday, we'll have two games. We'll have Hastings football at Robbinsdale Armstrong, and that is going to be on KDWA AM 1460, FM 97.7. And then one correction here, Prescott football will be at Ellsworth, and that will be on Friday night. That will be on KDWA.com on the live and recorded broadcasts tab. And then after that, our next broadcast will be the Hastings football game at St. Thomas Academy. So that's a look at what we have coming up as we have two football games at once on Friday night. It was very successful last week, so we're looking forward to doing it again. Second half underway here. Raiders lead 2-0, and right away, Tony Lau has it in the end. Almost went in, just went over the post a little bit. 2-0 is the score. Shots are 10-0 in favor of Hastings as Dominguez has this one teed up right on the foot of the E in Raiders. And Dominguez sends it deep toward the midfield. We have a whistle there as Johan Rova-Hegner came back to attack the ball. Ended up getting a player instead. Out there for Hastings now, a new face. That's Devin Hampel, number 14, who's played a little bit of goalkeeper this year, but also plays on defense. He's come into the game here for the second half to start for the Raiders. (2-0). Hampel chases after it. South St. Paul is there as well, but the flag goes up. And so it looks like with the Raiders now attacking left to right, South St. Paul going right to left, we will indeed have a free kick, and it will be Devin Hampel to take that free kick. And Hampel will launch this one deep, and South St. Paul sees it retreat back into their end and go out of play. 38 minutes remain here at Todd Field and McNamara Stadium. Looking for somewhere to go with it into the blue paint were the Raiders, and I believe that was Carlson that got tripped up there. 37:55 remains. On the R and Raiders is where this kick is going to come from. So Carlson taking a free kick right in the corner. Not a corner kick because it's in play. And here comes the free kick. Carlson on net, and Dominguez makes the save. So Hastings did what they needed to do in that first half. They got the 2-goal lead. They got an early lead, which is something they'd been working towards. Shane Lanning, again, we mentioned talking to us about that and how they were trying to get that early goal to give them some confidence instead of having to play from behind. And here they are with a 2-goal lead. Let's see how they handle this. As Jackson Rentz, also an accomplished skier, brings it up the field for the Raiders, and he'll throw it in. And now Sam Sanchez brings it forward looking for Carlson, but it's behind him. Tony Lau on the near side looking for it for the Raiders as South St. Paul's number 6 has it momentarily. That's Henry Andrade. Here's Carlson back with it. Carlson trying to turn the corner. In front, almost there, and it just went wide. Goodness. Xavier Beal was inches away from that one. Now we've got a foot race back the other way, and Hampel will get to it for the Raiders. Here's Hampel bringing it back up the field, and back to Hampel, back the other way. Stewart for Rova Hegner. And now Hampel back with it for the Raiders. South St. Paul back in possession now. As Andrade had it momentarily. Andrade. It goes out of play, and Hampel will get the free kick opportunity on the far sideline. The lefty, Hampel, sends it deep. Off of Geib. And back to the midfield it goes to Anthony Lopez Romero for South St. Paul. Splits a couple of Raiders and can't connect on the pass to Ochoki. 35 minutes to go. Hastings with an 11-0 advantage in shots on goal in this game so far. Jonathan Brox hasn't seen anything so far tonight. There's a free kick coming here for the Packers, and it will be Anthony Lopez Romero to take that free kick. Sends this one deep and into the back of the net. I jinxed him. Jonathan Brox, the first shot on goal for South St. Paul, goes into the back of the net on the free kick from Anthony Lopez Romero, and this is a 2-1 game here at Todd Field. So we'll see how that happened here, as the free kick just went perfectly angled and right into the back of the net. And so as a result, it's now a 2-1 game. And Lau back toward the middle of the field. And now it's Johan Rova Hegner retreating back to Devin Hampel as the lead's been halved here on that free kick goal by South St. Paul. Now Riley Stewart weaves through traffic, gets it back through the middle now to Brody Geib. Geib to Carlson. Carlson can't connect with a Raider. And now Weston Schultz sends it forward. Retreating back now, Jackson Rentz for the Raiders. And over toward the far sideline it goes to Devin Hampel. Hampel firing it deep toward the middle of the field. Now Sam Sanchez, that's Xavier Beal with the ball. Rentz on the near side, back to Lau. Carlson. Carlson loses the handle. Carlson gets it back. Trying to weave through defenders. Carlson back over now to Beal. Beal over to Schultz on the near side. And now it is Jed Carlson again. Carlson can't get to it. So South St. Paul with a goal on their only shot. Here's a replay of it once more. Anthony Lopez Romero took the free kick, and I don't know if you could have executed that much better. Just a perfectly done free kick, got right over Brox, and South St. Paul was on the board as a result. Rova Hegner with a look that just goes wide left. And so South St. Paul gets an early goal here in the second half, after Hastings got an early goal in the first half. And that has put us in this 2-1 situation. And now Xavier Beal. Here goes Sam Sanchez once again, and it just goes wide of the net. Raiders had a real good look there. Carlson ended up in the back of the net, but the ball didn't. And with 32 minutes remaining, Hastings a little bit less comfortable right now up 1 instead of 2. This basic math is brought to you by Trey Lauer. And a shot in front and into the back of the net. Tony Lau on the redirect puts it into the net, and the Raiders have that 2-goal lead right back. It's 3-1. The throw-in by Carlson was deflected right to Lau off a Packer. Dominguez came a little bit out of the net to play it, and Lau got it in over him and into the back of the net, and it is 3-1. So Tony Lau with a goal, and a big reaction from the fans after that one has made it 3-1. Rova Hegner back to Brody Geib. Geib through the middle. Back to Carlson now. Carlson off the shoulder of Geib. Gets back to it. Scorch through a Raider, and now Hampel back to the far sideline to Xavier Beal, who slips but keeps the ball between his feet. We've got a whistle. So 2 goals here in the first 9 minutes of the second half. And all of a sudden, it's a 3-1 game. And you can see on your TV screens, and for those listening on the radio, it's a pretty driving rain right now. It's a light rain, but it's steady. We'll put it that way.
The white. Yes, the white.
Steady light?
Oh, the light.
30 and a half to play here. Still a lot of soccer to go. Whistle before the corner kick that was coming up here for the Raiders. It is Johan Rova Hegner to take that corner kick from the left corner of the end zone. And here's Rova Hegner, sends it in on net, and it goes wide and the other direction, and that'll be coming the other way. Yeah, so again, a steady light rainfall. That sounds like an oxymoron, but it is quite literally what is happening here. Yeah, that's true. Good use of adjectives. As this one goes over the net and out. Had a lot of rain here recently. It's coming all on the back end of the hot weather after we had barely any rain all summer. And now we'll go into this colder stretch, the more fall-like weather that we're going to have here the rest of this week. Before, I believe, when we'll be out in Robbinsdale for the football game Friday night, well, we're going to have temperatures in the 40s and 30s by the end of that game. So it's going to feel a lot more like November here in this first week of October in Minnesota. As Carlson fires this one wide and out of play. And it was almost a goal. Well, let's see again on the replay here. Dominguez actually came out to try to stop it. Rova Hegner is going to leave the game. Looks like Strauss comes back in. I was a little surprised he wasn't out there to start the second half, but Sebastian Strauss back into the game for Hastings. Now Ethan Schock to Weston Schultz. As you can start to feel that cooler air blow in with this rain here in the press box. Weston Schultz out there now to the goal scorer, one of the goal scorers rather for Hastings, and Schmaltz. But Schultz will race back to it. So you have Schmaltz, who scored the first. You had Sanchez, scored the second goal, and then the third goal was scored just moments ago by Tony Lau. 3-1. As South St. Paul scored a goal, Lopez Romero on a free kick. That made it a 2-1 game, and now they've got a chance, but the flag goes up. It is offsides, and the ball will go the other direction. And by the way, our winter sports schedule will be coming soon to KDWA. Already starting to see some dates for hockey games trickle in. Hastings going to host Waconia this year, as well as the new co-op down in Rochester, Century John Marshall, who beat Hastings in the sectional last year, co-oping this year. And they will play at both of those games at Hastings Civic Arena. Here is, that was Shock rather with it. I was going to say Beal. And on your TV screen, you can start to see more evidently the precipitation falling as Hastings trying to preserve this 3-1 lead. For those on the radio, it's pretty evident that it is raining now. South St. Paul bringing it up the field. And big lapse in defense there. Brox will come out to play it. Brox turns it upfield, looking for Tony Lau, but it's taken away by a Packer. That's number 20 for South St. Paul. Again, we don't have that player on our roster. And now with it for the Packers was Ochaki. Andrade has it momentarily. Back toward the near side it comes to Joswiak, Walton Joswiak. Intercepted by Devin Hampel, who tries to get it toward the midfield, but Rojas is there. Now Jackson Rentz comes the other way with it. Brox chases after it and gets it back. 25 minutes and a quarter to go. 12-1 the shots on goal in favor of the Raiders. They might get a 13th here. Here's Xavier Beal on the left side of the field. Beal trying to cut it back toward the middle. Gets it back to Weston Schultz in front. Schultz back to Strauss. And then Strauss is taken away from the ball. Here goes South St. Paul, but now Hastings has it back. The big leg of Jackson Rentz. It was deflected off a Packer as Rentz tried to fire it on net. Taken away by a Raider again, that's Brody Geib. 24.5 minutes to play now. Here comes South St. Paul, collision near the 30-yard line on the near side. And again, Jackson Rentz fires it deep. There's Xavier Beal, he goes down, he gets it right back now. And threading the needle, now Weston Schultz has it back. Schultz, deep shot, just wide of the net for Sebastian Strauss. Oh my goodness. Man, oh man, I think they're going to want that back. Great footwork, great passing, but just wasn't meant to be there. Here's Schultz with it back to Strauss. Strauss trying to turn it upfield. Strauss has it back. Strauss through traffic. Taken away from the ball. And now with it for South St. Paul is Andrade. Back to Brox. Brox out of the net to play it. Racing back toward the near side. That was dangerous. He's still not back in the net yet. And now South St. Paul can't retain possession. Now the Packers have it back out near midfield with Brian Zamora. Schmaltz was there. Now it's Geib with it. Geib off the official and back to the near side. The official understood. He got in the way there. He stops the play. And Jackson Rentz now brings it up for the Raiders. Rentz spins it towards Strauss. Now Strauss trying to weave through traffic. Strauss is taken off the ball and taken down. I think we're going to get a free kick here for Sebastian Strauss, who's got a defender right on him here. And now the official moves the ball back toward the near hash mark on about what would be the 12-yard line in football. So a pretty close in free kick here for Strauss to try to make it 4-1. Another left-footed kick. And Strauss off the post. Oh, goodness. Off the post and back out. Weston Schultz gets to it for the Raiders. And now South St. Paul breaks the defense. They got one Packer behind everybody. It's going to be one-on-one here. Can Brock stop it? Yes, he can. He gets it just a little bit wide. He may have gotten a fingertip on that. Let's take a look at the replay. Here's the free kick first by Strauss. He did it everything right except just a bit too much hang time, and it hit the post. So Jackson Rentz takes this goal kick, and then Lau fires it deep over to Strauss. Got behind the defense but couldn't connect. Now it's Lau back toward the middle of the field, and now Schmaltz. Schmaltz South St. Paul sends it back deep. Jacob Reuter is out there trying to track it down for the Raiders. Schmaltz then knocks it out of bounds. 20-20 left in this. Hindsight is 20-20 on that free kick by Sebastian Strauss. You like what I did there? That was a good segue. Yeah. As with it back here, Brian Zamora, and a shot that just deflects wide, and now South St. Paul can't connect, and now it's Strauss racing up the boundary. Seabass Strauss trying to connect with Ethan Schock, and racing after it to get there first will be Jeshua Sanchez. Yeshua Sanchez. Couple of subs coming on for the Raiders here. It's like Peter Clark is one that has come on. Sam Sanchez is on again as well, one of the goal scorers tonight. Sanchez into the box, out of the box. Schock went for the cross to Rova Hegner. Beautifully done, but it went over his head, and it's going to roll out of play. And I believe one of the Raiders has come over off the bench, but we're going to get a goal kick here from Dominguez. Eric Dominguez, the South St. Paul goalkeeper. Dominguez fires this deep. Here come the Packers. Clark tried to find a lane for that one, but it was sent back instead. $18:20 to go. This one deep, shot, goal! Who's going to get credit for that one? It may have deflected in off of Schmaltz, or was it Schock? Let's take a look at the replay when we get a chance here to see. Schmaltz is celebrating as if it's his goal. It's Stewart on the free kick from the left side. And yeah, that one may have gone in off of Schmaltz. So that's going to be a brace for Schmaltz, and it's 4-1 Hastings here. So Schmaltz on the deflection on the Stewart free kick. And the Raiders have their largest lead of the night.
Number 17, Adam Schmaltz.
Taken away. Here goes Strauss into the box. Can he send it back toward the near side? Strauss looking for Clark. And now South St. Paul with it. Weaving through traffic, still got a lot of time left in this game, just under 18 minutes. Here's Strauss bringing it back toward the middle of the field, keeping it going with excellent footwork, gets it back down the other side of the field to Carlson, who just dribbles it wide. So Hastings, I don't know if they've been in this territory all year, a 3-goal lead. They've been down 2 and come back to win a couple times. They've had a couple of tough losses. We'll see how they respond to this big lead. This was a 2-1 game not too long ago. Here's Carlos Chavez with it. Chavez. Back to the middle of the field to Brian Zamora. We've got a whistle there as Rova Hegner came together with Lopez Romero. Lopez getting ready to fire it deep. Right on the bandana in the Raider logo. That one headed forward by Reuter. Here goes Clark. Clark back to the near side to Strauss. Strauss bringing it up the field for the Raiders. Seabass Strauss. Ooh, nifty footwork here from Strauss. Back to the middle to Sanchez. Sanchez fires it in on Dominguez, off the post and out of play. Sanchez nearly had his second goal of the game right here, but it just went out of play. That's 2 that we've seen go off the post here in the second half. Carlson's and now Sanchez. And that would have really started putting the nail in the coffin of the Packers here. Here's one that will be popped up a couple of times, kept alive by the Packers. We got a whistle. I don't think Dominguez was in net. There was a South St. Paul Packer in white that was in net there trying to keep that one out and did successfully. Shots on goal are 15-2 in favor of the Raiders. Here's the goal kick by South St. Paul. This one back deep. Stewart just dumps it back off to Brox. And Brox, the youngster, trying to keep it alive as he sends it back up the field, but South St. Paul back into possession. Here comes Lopez Romero. We got a whistle. And that one never went out. I don't know what the ruling is going to be here. Lopez Romero put his arms up in the air like, huh? As the clock runs under 15 to play. Rentz dribbles this one down the middle of the field. And now deep, streaking down the sideline is Jed Carlson. But Rojas will get to it first. Back to Carlson. Carlson has it back. Racing up the middle of the field. And Strauss to Clark. And Peter Clark just about added another. That was a good look for Peter Clark. Maybe just went a little bit too high. Another left-footed kick. And, yep, that may have even rung off the post even. 14 minutes to play. Raiders in control of this one for now, 4-1. Clark has it on the near side. Now it's Strauss. Strauss has it back. 13:38 and counting to go. There is Rentz trying to fire it deep for the Raiders. Popped up into the air there. And trying to be kept alive. Clark looking for it. And now Clark, or excuse me, that's Sanchez rather, weaving through traffic. Sanchez still has it. Has it over to Strauss. Strauss. Out in front and a look in front, and Dominguez will cover it up. Ethan Schock got down in front low and had a chance at it there and just wasn't able to connect into the back of the net. Now Rojas sends it deep. Back the other way now, Peter Clark. Here goes Clark for the Raiders. Clark back to Strauss, Seabass Strauss. Back toward the middle of the field. And that will roll out of play. So 12.5 to go. Raiders just have to get these final 12 minutes off the clock. And their first win since their second game will take place. And this is gonna feel real good for these boys. If they can hang on here, I can guarantee you that. As Stewart back toward the middle of the field now go the Packers. Brox has it and launches it deep. Back to Weston Schultz. Schultz over to the far sideline. Here's Reuter. Now South St. Paul has it back. Schultz gets it back for the Raiders. Now to Rova Hegner. Hastings has crossed midfield. Here's Johan Rova Hegner down the sideline. Riley Stewart just a bit outside. And it goes out of play. Clock under 12 to play. And now 11 minutes to go. South St. Paul has the ball, down 4-1. Raiders have it back now. Here's Weston Schultz, bringing it back up the field. Schultz trying to get it towards the midfield to Clark. Goes over Clark's head. This is going to roll down towards the corner. And getting to it will be Seabass Strauss, who will throw it in. Again, we'll be right back here Thursday on KDWA Radio for Hastings soccer doubleheader with Simley 5 and 7. Boys will go first in that one, and the girls will go second. And the boys play tomorrow night as well against Harding, and then Saturday. So this ends a string of 8 games in 14 days for this Hastings Raiders team. It's Farmington on Saturday. Oh, correction, the girls play Farmington on Saturday, not the boys. But the boys play 3 games in 3 days. And is the Harding game there? I believe it's here. It's at Todd Field tomorrow night. As Clark sees that one roll out of play. Not very often we have a Wednesday night game in Hastings. That might be a reschedule of some kind there. We'll try to get some clarification on that. I know obviously football playing their last game of the season on a Wednesday, but that's because of MEA. .9:12 left here. And again, this is South St. Paul and Hastings. 2 teams with almost identical records coming into this contest. And Hastings is feeling good right now, trying to finish off this final 8:55 of the contest, as South St. Paul just trying to get the ball out right now. Ethan Schock sends it deep. This one's popped up into the air. Dominguez will glove it and bring it down. 8:35 to play. Shots are 16-2 in favor of Hastings. I think the rain might be letting up a little bit. Or my eyes are deceiving me, one of the two. As Xavier Beal trips, or gets tripped, rather. And here goes Xavier Beal, and you saw the replay there, him falling down. Umbrellas were off, and now they're back. Rain is picked up again here at Todd Field. Jackson Rentz will gear up for the free kick here for Hastings. And Rentz hesitates, now waits, and fires it deep. Looking for Sam Sanchez. Gets it actually to Rova Hegner, and now it's Ethan Schock, and the Raiders are in business. Sanchez will get to it with Rojas. Sanchez is there. And that will roll out of play. Might have been off of Rojas there. So 7:20 to go. Raiders in front 4-1. And the corner kick coming for Hastings here. We have a whistle, which means it's time to go for the corner. Rentz in front. Another look for Hastings, just goes wide of the net. Rova Hegner chases it down. Has it back for the Raiders. 4-1 Hastings in front, but they may have a chance to make it 5 here. Here's Sanchez, saved by Dominguez. He will cover it up. 17 shots now for Hastings. 4-1. The lead. And the Raiders are hoping this final 6.5 minutes comes off the clock quickly here. Nevin Newling Hawkins tracks that one out of bounds for South St. Paul. Couple of subs coming on for the Raiders here. Looks like Lau, one of the goal scorers for Hastings, checks back in. Again, it's Lau, Sanchez with a goal, Schmaltz with 2. Those are the goal scorers tonight. Schock. And this one will split the Raider defenders, but come back over to Brox. Here goes, is that Reuter or Rentz? They look like Reuter. Here's Rova Hegner. Back to Weston Schultz, right on the Raider logo at midfield. 5.5 to play. Raiders up 4-1 here on what's been a fun night at Todd Field. And right now we have the possibility of both games ending by the same 4-1 margin. In the girls' game, South St. Paul got a goal with 26 seconds remaining to avert a shutout. We have 3 of our 5 goals in this contest here in the second half. And 5 of the 8 goals in this doubleheader have been scored by the Sanchez family. As a break elapse in defense here leads to a 1-on-3 for Hastings. Tony Lau tries to split the middle, can't do it. And now Xavier Beal on the near side for Hastings. Beal back over to the other end of the field now. Tyler Brockman, who's back in there after playing substantial minutes in the first half. And with 4:20 to go in this one, a sub coming on for Hastings. Shots are 17-2 right now in favor of the Raiders. And this will be a big and important win for Hastings should this hold. South St. Paul's going to need to score basically a goal a minute here to win the game, though. Geib. And it will roll out of bounds. 3:46 to go. Hastings on their way to their 3rd win of the season. South St. Paul in the middle of the field. This one taken away by Jackson Rentz. Rentz splits the defense. Here goes Jackson Rentz once more. On the run to Rova Hegner, too far. Dominguez is there. Good play by Rentz. Knew exactly where to put it as the clock approaches 3 minutes to go. Here goes South St. Paul the other way. Almost taken away by Schultz. And we have approached 3 minutes to go here at Todd Field and McNamara Stadium. Foul on Stewart. And a free kick coming for South St. Paul. And it is Andrade taking said free kick. Sends this one deep and out. So barring an unbelievable miracle, this one's looking like a night for the Raiders at Todd Field. We appreciate you joining us here this evening. As a busy week for Raiders soccer continues. Again, the boys play tomorrow against St. Paul Harding, Thursday against Simley, and then the girls play Thursday against Simley and Saturday against Farmington. And are we going to get a red card here? We've got a red card, and Tony Lau has just been sent off. So let's take a look at what happened there. Tony Lau knocked down a defender, and then the official gives him a yellow. Lau argues the yellow, doesn't like the call, and then the official gives him a second yellow, which then by automatic rule leads to a red card. And 10 men for the remainder of this 153. So a double yellow card is basically what that was for Tony Lau in succession to send him off. And Brox will make a nice save on an angling shot. So normally in soccer, having 10 men versus 11 is a detriment. But with only 100 seconds to go in this game, I don't know how much of a detriment that will be to the Raiders. Obviously, you don't want to see any red cards in the game. And so that'll probably be a talking point in practice, but Guy back over to Sanchez. And the final 1:15 of this game is going to run off the clock. Rova Hegner trying to move in. But South St. Paul will get back to it. And we have 1 minute remaining in this contest. One more look for the Raiders, perhaps. Now maybe a second chance there. We've got a whistle. We got time called. We've got a Packer down. And another yellow coming to a Raider. And is that going to be Sanchez that got that one? It is. So we've had Lau get sent off for a yellow, got a yellow card, and then got another yellow for arguing the yellow, which gave him the red. Now we've got Sanchez getting a yellow card as well, so a second one for him would lead to a red card. There's only 51 seconds left in the game. Clock runs again. Now Dominguez fires it in. I believe that was Brockman who was there momentarily. And now Hastings has it back. Over to Schock. Schock is there. Ethan Schock weaves it through traffic to Xavier Beal. And with 25 seconds to go in this one, the Hastings Raiders are going to win this game. There's a late whistle. Clock will continue to run. We might get one more shot. Maybe two. There's the first one, 10 seconds to go. And what a night this is going to be for the Hastings Raiders. It's going to feel real good. There is the last gasp, and the Hastings Raiders are back in the win column, and boy, does that feel good. Final score tonight, Hastings 4 and South St. Paul 1. The Raiders go to 3-10-1. The Packers drop to 2-11 2 on the season.
Thank you, everyone, for
Goal scorers tonight, it was Schmaltz twice. Sanchez got one. Here's the South St. Paul goal. Lopez Romero on the free kick, got it past Brox. That made it a 2-1 game at that point. And then on the throw-in, Carlson got it in front to Tony Lau, who put it in the back of the net to make it a 3-1 game. And then Stewart on the free kick, headed in off of Schmaltz. That made it 4-1, and that's where the result stands. Again, your final score tonight, Hastings 4, South St. Paul 1. Raiders go to 3-10-1 on the campaign. I'm Trey Lauer for KDWA Radio. On the TV side, producer-director Hunter Pinky, camera operators Tori Selner, Max Slocum. Hunter Pinky also on replay. Thanks so much for listening on KDWA and watching on HCTV, and good night from Todd Field.